In this video, we are going to look at how to create this button. Okay, so this is the final project that you will get after the entire tutorial is complete. So we are going to look at how to create this download resume button. Okay, so we are not just going to create a button or a button with these fancy animations going on, but just as the button is communicating, you should be able to download someone's resume. And at the end of the video, we are going to use HTML and CSS for styling of the button, and then we should be able to implement downloading a button using HTML and CSS. Okay, so at the end of the day, if someone should see this button on your website and clicks on it, you should be able to download the resume. Okay, or any other file that you want the person to download, you can attach it to the button, and at the end of the day, this particular link that the person will click on will download the button to the person's device. Okay, all right, so without saying much, I just want us to jump straight into the video. So right now, looking at my text editor, I'm using VS Code here. You can use any text editor of your choice. We have Sublime Text, Atom, Vim. There are so many of them that you can choose to use from, but I just have a folder opened called button, and then in that folder I have another folder that I have named resume. Okay, so this basically just have the resume. It's kind of a test resume. It's not related to anybody. I got this resume from Canva. I just downloaded it for the purpose of this video. Okay, now what we want to do is to just add our files. Okay, so the first file definitely that we'll need is index.html, where we'll write our HTML, and then we will also need a CSS. So I'm going to create a folder and I'm going to name that CSS, and inside the CSS folder we want to create a style.css file. Okay, all right, style.css, you can just name it that way. Index.html, I think we've probably made a mistake there, so let's just correct that. It's HTML. All right, yeah, so now that we have our files created, it's a basic structured HTML page. So you could put the exclamation mark and then hit tab. That will generate the HTML boiler page. Let me just increase the width of that. Yeah, once we've created all the files and folders that we need for this particular project, we want to head to our HTML and begin to write HTML. Okay, so if you are on the HTML file, I want you to hit exclamation and tab, and that should generate the HTML boiler page. Okay, now here we have the doc type and the basic structure, and then down here we have the header of our HTML page, and then this is the body of the HTML page as well, so we can see here. Okay, so we just want to give our page a title. I'm going to call it tutorial. Okay, and within the body of our HTML we want to put in a div, and within the div we want to add an anchor tag, which is a link, and then we want to name that download resume. Okay, now for the sake of our styling, we want to link our style sheet to the HTML page, and if we just typed in link and then tab, this that should generate this particular code here that has the relationship, which is a style sheet, and then the href, that where we could type the path of our CSS file. Okay, so we are just going to get outside of our HTML file, so we have dot slash, and then we have CSS slash, and then whatever is inside our CSS folder is the style.css. Okay, so if you've done this, now it means that our CSS file has been linked to our HTML file, so whatever we write here will get onto our HTML page. Okay, so yeah, once that is done, you could You just have to save it and then open your HTML page on the browser. Okay, so what you just saw there is me using live server. If that's not available for you, you can go to extensions, just type live server, and then you can install the live server that is written by Redwick Day. Yeah, so there are other options for live server that you can experiment with. Okay, yeah, so once we have this, we have our resume on our web page. Alright, so once we are done with our HTML page, the next thing is to head to adding styling to our page. Okay, so for our styles, we just have to add some base styling to our web page, and then we want to set the border. Want give it a box sizing of border box. Okay, want to remove the padding and margin, so we want to set that to 0 and margin 0. Right, and do is to style the body of our web page. So we want to style the body, and so on the body we want to set the font family to Arial, head vertical and sans serif, and then we also want to set the display to flex. And then we want to justify content to center. Let's justify the content to center, and then next thing we want to look at is to align the items to center. Okay, so we can align item to center, and then let's give it 100 VH height. So let's give it a height of 100 VH. Okay, and save. Right. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to style the button, this whole thing, and then if you had this link as part of an entire page, you have several other links in the page. Okay, so that's why I've added a class of CVBTN, so we can access the anchor tag that is within that particular class. Okay, so that's exactly what we are going to do. So we're going to target CV, that class CV-BTN, and then we are looking at the anchor tag on that. I want to set the text decoration to none. Okay, so set the text decoration to none, and then the next thing we want to look at is to give it a border. So let's give it a border of 1 pixel top and bottom, solid, and then we want a black border. Okay, all right, so now that we have our border on it, let's give it a padding so that this looks better. Let's give it 12 pixel padding left and right, and 25 pixel top and bottom. This looks good. Let's give it a border radius so that we can have those curved corners as we have in the final product. So border radius, and let's give that to 4 pixels. Okay, so our bottom is looking better now. If you look at the final product, we are almost reaching the final end of the product. So our result is approaching the final product. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is we want to change the color. So let's make it black. So let's look at color, and let's set that to black as well. Good. Let's transform the text to uppercase. So let's do text that's transform to uppercase and save. Yep. So now we've transformed the text. Let's give it a font weight of 600. Right. And there we have it. So we have it as font width of 600. That is really cool. Let's give it a transition of 0.5 seconds, and then we want it to ease. Okay, save that. Okay, and then let's give it a background color of transparent. Okay, let's give it a background color of transparent, and then you can see the bottom transition in just like that. All right, so on the final product, you can see anytime there's a hover effect, then you see the color turn to black. Okay, so let's go to CV, that's btn a colon hover. Anytime we hover on it, we want to see that effect. All right, and on hover, I want to change the background. Want to change the background to the black color, and then we also want to change the color to white. And save, and let's take a look at the results. Okay, so now if you save and then you hover on it, you should have the, so this is the final product. You can see the file downloading there. And now if you should hover on our button, you should see it turn to black and the text turn to red. And once you hover out, you should see the transformation right there. Now, as it stands, our button doesn't download anything, so the next thing we want to look at is how to make this button download the file. Okay, so since we already have our file in our resume folder, the one thing we just want to look at is on the href, we want to provide the path to the file. So our folder is on the resume. Our file is on the resume folder, and it's called a test resume. And the next thing we want to do after that is to just add download. Okay, and then hit save. And now if we click on our button, we should have this download the test folder. Okay, you can click on it, and then you see the effect right there. And then if the person should go to the download, you can see that particular file. Okay, all right, so if you enjoyed the video today, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be bringing you more content on more advanced topics, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and so that you don't miss out.